According to Nanos polling data hot off the press this morning, here's where the parties stand. As of end of day yesterday, the Liberals were up slightly, now seeing 44.8% of Canadians wanting to see them stay on as government. Not much change for the Conservatives, seeing 37.8% support. NDP kicks off the last 2 weeks with 8.8% support. When it comes to who Canadians prefer to see as Prime Minister, the trend does not exactly follow party support. Liberal leader Mark Carney leads the way with a whopping 49.8%. Conservative Pierre Poilievre has a little more than 34%, which is less than what his party is seeing. And NDP Jagmeet Singh is trailing far behind with 4.2%. Joining us now to discuss the polling trend is Nanos Research Chair Nik Nanos. Good morning, Nik.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit more about the findings and what they should suggest to Canadians.
Well, what it suggests is as we get into the French and English debates this week, that it's still a tight race, but the Liberals have an advantage, about 7 points. And, you know, the key thing is the Liberals are leading in Ontario and Quebec. Those are the two regions with the biggest swaths of votes and seats. So expect, you know, the impact of the French debate and the English debate to have a noticeable kind of outlay, at least, on the shape of the race.
You know, when it comes to the discrepancies between party support and maybe individual support for a leader, what do we take away from that? That party faithfuls may want to vote Conservative but may not necessarily have the same amount of faith or desire to see Pierre Poilievre as Prime Minister?
Yeah, that's a really good point. What it speaks is that the Conservative vote is largely driven by an appetite for change, driven by the perception for Conservative voters that they want to get the Liberals out of power, that the Liberals have been in power for too long. And they're okay with Pierre Poilievre, but the primary driver is their objective to get the Liberals out of power. For the Liberals, it's a little different. You can see, you know, Mark Carney polling ahead of his party. It's not about what the Liberals did. It's not about Liberal popularity. It's not about the Liberal Party. It's actually about Mark Carney. That's why the French and English debates are going to be real pressure cookers for him, because Liberal fortunes are directly connected to his political fortunes. If he gets through the debates or even has a good debate performance, that'll probably consolidate where he's at. If he has a misstep, blows up, makes a mistake, then that'll be bad news for the Liberals.
Okay, and you know, when it comes to issues leading this election campaign, we saw it start off with tariff and Trump. We've heard about housing and affordability. Are we still discussing the same issues into this last 2 weeks, this final run?
Yeah, actually, what's interesting is that when we ask Canadians what issues would be driving their vote decision, the proportion that said Trump and U.S. tariffs would be driving their vote decision has actually increased over the past month.
Okay.
The other thing that's really quite striking is that in a survey that we just did for CTV News and the Globe and Mail, we asked Canadians about whether they were worried or thought we'd be going into a recession in the next 12 months. And about 2 out of every 3 Canadians believe that we'll be going into a recession. Speaks to the overhang of Trump, tariffs, money, and the cloud that hangs over Canadians right now when they're thinking about who they're going to vote for in the upcoming federal election.
All right, Nik, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks.
Take care. We'll chat again soon. Liberal leader Mark Carney, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, Green Party co-leader Jonathan Pedneau, and Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet will be going head-to-head Wednesday and Thursday in Montreal for debates in English and French. CTV's chief political correspondent, Vashi Kapelos, will be live there for a special edition of Power Play that you won't want to miss. It all gets started at 5 p.m. on both of those days.